Here's how to play the complete accompaniment to Neo's Because of You in the original key. It's quite tricky, so if you just want to play a simplified version of the hook, follow the link below, and I've recorded another tutorial video showing you how to do that. But if you want to play along with the original recording, stick with this one. What I'll do is I'll play the verse straight through and break that down, then I'll do the same with the bridge. Here's the verse. I'm going to split that into 4 sections. So the first section is then the second is the third section is then exactly like the first one. So the fourth section is let's start with the left hand. In the first section, your chords are these. Then, so your thumb stays on B flat. Then, and this chord gets played twice. So at speed. Then the second section is exactly the same on the left hand for the first 3 chords. But instead of playing that again, you just play an F bass note. So here are sections 1 and 2 together. Then, as I said, section 3 is exactly the same as section 2. So that just leaves the last one, section 4. Starts the same way again. But now instead of going to the C chord at all, it just plays. So 3 notes on the left hand, 4th on A flat, 3rd on B flat, then 5th on F. So here's the left hand right the way through for the verse. Now for the right hand, I'm going to split the first section into 3 phrases. So the first phrase is, then the second is, and the third is. So each phrase starts with your second finger on E flat, then goes to your 5th on B flat, 4th on A flat, and 3rd on G. So if you have trouble playing those 4 notes evenly, because your 4th and 5th fingers are weak, practice that until that's up to speed. So the first phrase finishes on E flat where it started. The second phrase is exactly the same, but finishes with your thumb on D instead. Then the third phrase goes to your second finger on F instead. And you then have these 4 notes. So that's thumb on E flat, second on F, fifth on B flat, then third on G. So playing the third phrase all the way through. Putting that all together at half speed. Then the second section is exactly the same in the right hand, except for the very last note. Instead of going to G, you go back to E flat with your second finger. And you also add an A flat with your thumb at the same time, like this. So try to get your second finger and thumb in place to play those 2 notes while you're playing the B flat with your little finger, like this. So putting sections 1 and 2 together in the right hand. Section 2. Exactly the same, except for the last note. Have this pair. Now, as I said, section 3 is exactly the same as section 1 in both hands. I'll play it through quickly. Then section 4 has quite a different ending. So it starts with the same 2 phrases. Then it has this. So on the third phrase, instead of going to F like you've been doing before, you go back to E flat, hold it down and add a C, and then that's the first of 3 pairs of notes. 1, 2, 3. So before trying to play that third phrase in the 4th section all the way through, just practice those 3 pairs of notes. So thumb and second finger on C and E flat, then thumb and third finger on D and F, and thumb and second finger again on A flat and C. So when you play it in context, that first pair is split up like that. You play the E flat first, hold it down, and then add the C. Then you play the other 2 pairs together. So here's the 4th section all the way through in the right hand. So it starts the same way. Back to E flat, hold it. Second pair, third pair. Now to put the hands together. For the most part, the hands don't play together. If I play it in slow motion, that way through, you never have two notes playing at the same time between the hands. So it's the right, then it's the left, then the right again, then the left again with the second chord, then the right, and then when they come together is when you go to your thumb on E flat and hit that top C in the left hand with your thumb. Those two notes come together, so it's thumbs together on the third phrase in the right hand. And the second time they come together is when you play that final G in the right hand. That's when you play the second bass note, when you repeat this chord. So I'll do that little bit in slow motion. Even slower. Thumbs together. Right hand by itself, but C and G together. Then section 2 is exactly the same as section 1. Except the end. So there the coordination's the same. But that pair of notes in the right hand goes with the F in the left hand, making an F minor 7 chord. So second section all the way through both hands together. Once again, the third section is the same as the first one. So now we just have the last section to put together. Before playing through the whole of section 4, let's just put those pairs of notes in the right hand with those 3 extra bass notes in the left. So the first pair and first bass note make up an A flat major chord. Second pair and second bass note make up B flat major. And then the last pair and last bass note make up F minor. So that relies on you knowing your triads, which you may not know yet. But if you don't know those, don't worry, just copy what you see. Then in terms of coordination, it starts the same way, with the hands not playing at the same time. Right up to here, but then after you hold on to that E flat, you play A flat and C together. Remember to use your fourth on A flat in the left hand. And then you go up to this chord and down to that. So all the way through again. So here's the whole verse right the way through at half speed. Now for the bridge, again I'll play it straight through and then I'll break it down. We'll get the left hand out of the way as it's very simple. In the left hand you start on D flat, just move down by half steps or semitones until you get to B flat. You then go back to D flat, do the same thing again, but this time you keep on going until you get to A flat, and then you go back to D flat again. In terms of fingering, it doesn't really matter which fingers you use, so long as you don't use the same finger for two adjacent notes. So this works. When it comes to the right hand, try learning it 2 chords at a time without the extra notes to begin with. So your first chord is this, and your second is this. So the only note that's in both of them is your second finger on E flat. So practice that pair before moving on to the next. Sorry, 5th at the top, 4th on the next chord. Once you've got that, you can practice the next pair. Going to, again, your second finger stays on the same note. Try and copy my fingering. So for each pair of chords, you should have your 5th finger at the top of the first one, but your 4th at the top of the second one. Then the next pair is, which goes to, and again, your second finger stays on the same note. So you have 3 pairs of chords. First pair, second pair, third pair. And the final chord is this one. It's a rearrangement of the first one. Once you can play each pair of chords easily, you can start adding the extra notes. So taking the first pair of chords, we're going to start with our 3rd finger on F. So you lead into the first chord by a step like that. You then repeat the top note of the chord, but with your 4th finger instead of your 5th. Go up, then land on the second chord. And move down from your 4th finger to your second. So ignoring the chords and just looking at the top notes, you have in slow motion, and copy the fingering exactly. So the main thing is to remember to change from your 5th on this note to your 4th with the chords. Once you've got the hang of that, it shouldn't be too bad learning the other ones because it's the same pattern each time. You just move everything down a whole step. So now you're starting with your 3rd finger on E flat. Change from your 5th to your 4th. Then the same again, now starting on D flat. Change to your 4th. And you finish with this chord. So here's the bridge all the way through in the right hand. Once you've got the hang of the right hand, adding the left isn't too bad. I'll go through it slowly and explain what all of the chords are. That's D flat, major 9. So there's the D flat, so major 7th just below it, 9th above it, then 3rd and 5th. That's C minor 7, 7th, 3rd, 5th. Then the pattern of chords is always the same. That's another major 7 chord, major 7th, 9th, 3rd, 5th. B flat minor 7. Believe it or not, that's actually B double flat, major 9, probably the nastiest chord you'll ever have to play. A flat minor 7. And then you're back to D flat major 9. So all the way through in slow motion. And one final time at speed.